Good afternoon, everyone. So today we'll be discussing the digestive system. So class, the digestive system is the first topic included for your finals exam. So what are the functions of the digestive system? First, for digestion of food, absorption of digestive substances, and excretion of undigested materials. So what are the components of the digestive system? We have digestive tract and the digestive glands. What are included in the digestive tract? So we have the oral cavity, pharynx, esophagus, stomach, small intestine, and large intestine. So what are the digestive glands? So these are glands that are embedded in the walls of the digestive tract. So first, let's proceed to the general histologic layers of the digestive tract. So sa digestive tract, there are four histologic layers. We have the mucosa, the submucosa, the muscularis externa, and the adventitia or serosa. So yan, as you can see in the picture, we have the mucosa, the submucosa, the muscularis, and the serosa or the adventitia. That's the histologic picture. Yan yung mismong tissue. So kung mapapansin nyo, ang kapal nung sa mucosa, tapos submucosa, the tunica muscularis, and the serosa or adventitia. So first, let's proceed sa mucosa. Other name is tunica mucosa or the mucous membrane. Sa tunica mucosa, it is consists of three layers. Una, epithelium that lines the luminal surface of the entire digestive system. We have the lamina propria, which refers to the loose connective tissue layer. Tapos we have the muscularis mucosa, na consists ng thin sheet of smooth muscle fibers. So next we have the submucosa. It is made up of loose connective tissue. They are usually tender, denser, or more abundant and more vascular. The muscularis externa naman, it is consists of two thick, smooth muscle, yung inner and outer. Yung inner, muscle fibers are arranged circularly. Ang outer naman, muscle fibers are arranged longitudinally. So, circularly, tapos ito ay longitudinally. So, yan yun, no? Longitudinal, yung smooth muscle, yun yung outer. Tapos yung inner, yun yung circular. So sa muscularis externa pa din, it contains population of cells that acts as pacemaker of the gastrointestinal motility. Anong tawag doon? We have ICC or the interstitial cells of Cajal or Cajal. They are located between the nerve and smooth muscle cells. So ano yung mga ICC? Yung ICC are indistinguishable from smooth muscle cells using routine histologic preparations. Pero pwede sila ma-distinguish by methylene blue staining and zinc iodine osmium impregnation. So ito yun, no, yung ICC. Bakit parang color blue siya? Kasi pag sinilip nyo sa microscope, ang ginamit nga na stain is methylene blue. Ano bang kulay ng methylene blue? It's color blue. Tapos next, we have the last histologic layer of the digestive tract. We have the adventitia or the serosa. It is the outermost layer of the digestive tract. So it is covered by peritoneum. Yung outer covering is lined by mesothelium known as serosa. So let's proceed sa digestive tract. So first we have the oral cavity or the mouth. So it is divided into two regions. We have the vestibule. Yung vestibule is the region of the mouth that is anterior to the teeth and gums. Tapos yung oral cavity proper. So dito sa area na to, dito, nare-reduce yung sizes ng mga food na kinakain natin gamit ang teeth, tongue, and muscles of mastications at mga chemical actions of enzymes na nasa saliva. So the roof of the oral cavity proper, pwede siyang, this consists of soft and hard palate. So ito yon, anong histologic layer. Kung mapapansin nyo class, sa lahat ng mga digestive tract, yung kasama sa digestive tract, laging i-discuss yung histologic layer. So pag ganito, basahin nyo na lang yung kung anong pinagkaiba-iba ng kanilang mucosa, submucosa, muscularis, externa, and adventitia or serosa nila. Yan, di ba sabi nga, merong hard palate at soft palate dun sa roof. Tapos yung uvula, ito, kasi dito yung tonsils yung nandito sa tabihan. Ito yung namamaga pag meron kayong tonsillitis. Tapos ito yung tongue. Kaya huwag niyo sasabihin class na kunwari may tonsils. Pag may tonsillitis kayo, sinasabi niyo may tonsils ako. Class, sadyang may tonsils tayo. Pag inflamed yung tonsils mo, ang tawag is tonsillitis. So let's proceed sa tongue. So it is a muscular organ that plays an important role for mastication, deglutition, and speech. So nandito yung sense organs of taste. Ano tong sulcus terminalis? It is the inverted V-shape shallow furrow that separates the anterior to the posterior part of the tongue. So yung apex ng V-shape na yun, ang tawag is foramen secum. So yan, ito yung apex. So yan daw yung foramen secum. Tapos kung mapapansin nyo class, meron dyan mga papillae. Ano ba yung mga papillae na yan? Later we'll discuss kung ano yan. So ito na nga. Kita nyo dun sa picture, tatlo yung papillae. So first we have the lingual. So they are projections of the mucosa and are confined sa dorsal surface of the anterior tongue. So in humans, there are three types ng lingual papillae. We have the filiform, fungiform, and circumvallate. So first is the filiform. It is the most numerous papillae. It is slender and tapering. Ang fungiform naman, it consists of connective tissue which are rich in capillaries. They appear as pinhead-sized red dots to the naked eye. So taste buds are occasionally present on their surface. Tapos yung circumvallate, they are the largest but the least. Ibig sabihin sila yung mga pinakamalaki pero sila yung pinakakakaunti. So yan, we have the filiform, the fungiform, and the circumvallate. Taste buds. So taste buds are organs that are responsible for the sense of taste. So they are ovoid in structure that are embedded in the epithelium of the circumvallate and fungiform papillae. So what are the cells? So taste buds, so may tatlo daw. We have the sustentacular cells or supporting cells. We have the neuroepithelial or the gustatory cells and the basal cells. Yun ay pag sa light microscope. Pero daw pag electron microscope ang ginamit, 5 daw yung nakikita. The type 1 is the sustentacular. Yung type 2 and type 3, that's the neuroepithelial. Type 4 is the basal. Tapos yung type 5, yun yung outer boundary of the taste buds. So, ulit nga yun sa light microscope, we have the supporting or the sustentacular, then the neuroepithelial or the gustatory cells. So, anong similarities? Both of them are slender, spindle-shaped. Ang difference naman nila, sustentacular cells are darker staining cells than neuroepithelial. Tapos, ang basal cells, they are round cells located at the base of the taste buds and serve as dapat nandan dyan stem cells for other cell type. So, yan. Ito yung sustentacular at saka ito yung neuroepithelial. Ano daw pinagkaiba ng dalawa? Mas darkly staining yung sustentacular kaysa sa neuroepithelial. Tapos pag basal naman, ibig sabihin nasa pinaka-base, yan siya yung nasa baba. So we have the pharynx. Ano yung pharynx? Pharynx is a funnel-shaped fibromuscular tube that are common for both digestive and respiratory system. Esophagus, gaano kahabang esophagus? That's 20 to 25 centimeters, and it serves as passageway of food or passageway for food. And ito yung esophagus. Tapos ito yung throat or yung pharynx. So, this is the histologic layers of the esophagus. Sabi ko nga, class, basahin nyo na lang yung pinagkaiba-iba ng mga layers. Yung sa mucosa, muscularis externa, and the adventitia or serosa. So, we have the stomach. Stomach daw is J-shaped, yellow hollow organ, located at the left upper quadrant of the abdomen. So in this organ, the food is thoroughly softened and mixed and converted into chyme. So ano yung chyme? It is an acidic semi-fluid mixture of the food and gastric juice. So grossly, the stomach is subdivided into cardia portion, fundus, body, and pyloric region. So we have the cardia, fundus, body, and the pyloric region. So the mucosa of the stomach forms the longitudinal anastomosing folds or wrinkles. Rugae ang tawag. So yung glands sa stomach depende sa location. So we have the fundic or the gastric, we have the cardiac, and the pyloric. First, fundic, it is also known as gastric. Saan siya makikita? Fundic sa fundus. Ang fundic glands is the most numerous and longest of the glands sa stomach. So there are 5 cell types. We have the oxyntic or the parietal, zymogenic or the chief cells, mucous neck cells, stem cells, and enteroendocrine cells. So we have the parietal or oxyntic. So anong shape nila? Pyramidal in shape with oval to round nucleus. So yung mga cells na to, they produce hydrochloric acid that is responsible for the acidity of the gastric juice. We have the chief or the zymogenic cells. It is the most numerous cells. So they have secretory granules that contains pepsinogen, precursor of the enzyme pepsin. We have the mucous neck cells. They're generally confined on the neck of the Fundic glands. We have the stem cells. Ang stem cells, they play an important role in renewing the cell population of the stomach. We also have the enteroendocrine or the enterochromaffin or the argentaffin cells. They are hormone-producing cells of the stomach, large intestine, and small intestine. So in the stomach, the type of enteroendocrine cells are G cells, which secretes gastrin, EC cells, which secretes serotonin, D cells, which secretes somatostatin, and ECL or the enterochromaffin-like cells, which secretes histamine. We have the cardiac glands. So they are the least numerous gastric glands. Ang pyloric, they are shorter but more coiled. We also have the gastric mucosal barrier. It prevents HCl and gastric enzymes from damaging the mucosa of the stomach. So there are 3 components. We have the compact epithelium layer of mucus and bicarbonate ions. Histologic layers of the stomach, kung mapapansin nyo, wala siyang mucosa. Meron lang siya submucosa, muscularis externa, and adventitia or serosa. So we have the small intestine segment located between the stomach and the large intestine. So this organ is responsible for itong pinamahalaga absorption of nutrients. So there are three segments sa small intestine. We have the duodenum, jejunum, and ileum. So ano yung epithelium of the small intestine? Ang surface niya is simple columnar, and there are four types ng cells sa small intestine. We have the enterocytes, goblet cells, enteroendocrine cells, and the M cells. So yung lamina propria and muscularis mucosae of the small intestine, it consists of loose connective tissue and smooth muscle fibers. So there are 5 cell types. We have the stem cells. It is the most numerous. Enterocytes, goblet cells, Paneth cells, and the enteroendocrine cells. So ito yon, summary lang ng histologic layers ng small intestine. So we have the large intestine. It is the most distal segment of the digestive tract. So it consists of several segments. We have the cecum, the vermiform appendix, ascending colon, transverse colon, descending colon, sigmoid colon, rectum, and the anal canal. We have the cecum, we have the ascending, transverse, descending, sigmoid colon, and the rectum. So, saan naman responsible ang large intestine? It is for the absorption of water and some electrolytes. So, ano yung pinagkaiba niya sa small intestine? Its wall forms pouches called sacculations or hostrae. So, meron din siyang small sacs of fat-filled peritoneum that dangles from the external surface of its wall. So most of its muscle fibers collects into 3 bands called taenia coli. So basahin nyo na lang ulit yung table regarding the histologic layer of the large intestine. So the vermiform appendix, it is short, narrow, worm-like tubular evagination of the cecum. Its epithelium is made up of tall, columnar cells. So ito yung appendix. So what are the accessory glands and organs of the digestive system? So we have the salivary glands. So we have major and minor. So their collective secretions, anong tawag? We have the saliva. Yung saliva, it is a clear watery fluid that contains 2 digestive enzymes. We have the lingual lipase and the thiolin or the salivary amylase. It also have glycoproteins, mucins, immunoglobulins, lysosomes, proteins, and inorganic ions. It serves as solvent for the substance that stimulate taste buds. It facilitates speech, protects the teeth, tongue, and other oral tissues. So, di ba nabanggit ko kanina, there are 2 types. We have the major and the minor salivary glands. So, a major salivary glands, it secretes epidermal growth hormone. So, it consists of 3 pairs of major salivary glands. We have the parotid, submandibular, and sublingual glands. Yan, we have the parotid, submandibular, and sublingual. So, what are the ducts na nasa major salivary glands? We have the intralobular ducts. Under nun, we have intercalated and striated. We have the excretory ducts. Under excretory, we have interlobular, lobar, and main excretory. We have intercalated and striated. So, di ba yung may major salivary glands? Meron daw 3 types. So, yung first, we have the parotid gland. It is the largest salivary gland located one of each side of the body just below the anterior to the pinna of either ear at the region of the angle of the mandible. Ang submandibular naman, or also known as submaxillaris, saan sila makikita? Located sa submandibular fossa of the inner aspect of the mandible. So its main excretory duct is the Wharton's duct, which opens to the oral cavity. We have the sublingual. The sublingual is the smallest major salivary gland. It is also mixed gland, but most of its secretories are mucous or acini. We have pancreas. Pancreas is a soft pinkish organ, 12 to 15 centimeters in length. So it is both an exocrine and endocrine gland. So yung pancreas meron siyang head, body, and tail. So the lobules consist of islet of Langerhans, secretory units, and intralobular ducts. So as exocrine gland, its secretion contains digestive enzymes vital for protein and carbohydrate and fat digestion. So ano yung pancreatic acini? It is a grape-like clusters of epithelial cells. So their atypical cytoplasm is eosinophilic, while their basal cytoplasm is basophilic. So ano yung duct sa pancreas? So the secretion of the pancreatic acini drain into the intercalated ducts, whose walls consist of simple squamous or simple low cuboidal epithelium. So the liver is the largest gland of the body. So it is located on the right under diaphragm and fits into the diaphragm's concavity. So it is divided into several unequal lobes. We have the right, the left, quadrate, and caudate. So it acts as an endocrine. It produces erythropoietin and thrombopoietin and exocrine glands. Secretes bile, which aids in the digestive processing by emulsifying fats. Yung erythropoietin and thrombopoietin, it is involved sa red blood cells and platelets. So it synthesizes plasma proteins, processes dietary amino acids, stores carbohydrates in the form of glycogen, detoxifies and excretes endogenous and exogenous toxic substances, and eliminates particulate materials. So the histologic organization of the liver. So it is made up of connective tissue. Anong kanyang main component? Gleason's capsule made up of collagen and elastic fiber. Yung parenchyma naman is made up of hepatocytes or the liver cells. So yung mga hepatic globules, it is the atomical unit of the liver. It is a polygonal in structure which delineated by the connective tissue septa. The hepatocytes are organized into two layers called the hepatic plates or the hepatic cords, which are arranged like spokes of cartwheel. Hepatocytes are the liver cells. It comprise 80% of the cell population of the liver. Hepatic hepatic sinusoids are lined by the endothelium with two types of cells. We have the endothelial cells and the Kupffer cells. So lymph formation. So the liver is the source of more than a third of the lymph diffused into the sinusoidal wall into the space of Giese, which contains collagenous and reticular fibers, microvilli, and perisinusoidal cells. They're also called lipocytes, interstitial cells, or stellate cells. Then it flows into the space of mole before it finally collected by the lymphatic capillaries into the interlobular septa. So bile passages, bile canaliculus does not have wall but with laterally opposed hepatocytes bound by desmosomes. So the bile passages have three histologic layers. We have the mucosa, muscularis, and the serosa. Hepatic acinus, it is an ellipsoidal structure that is smaller than hepatic lobule. It is regarded as the true anatomical or functional unit of the liver. So it is divided into three regions. We have the region 1 or the zone 1, region closest to the blood vessel backbone, zone 2, region sandwiched in between two zones, and the zone 3, region that is farthest from the blood vessel backbone. So hepatocytes in zone 1 are most susceptible to damage by blood-borne toxins, while those in zone 3 are most susceptible to damage. So I have gallbladder. Gallbladder is a pear-shaped hollow pouch that lies in a shallow depression. So the organ which concentrates bile by extraction of water. So this is the histologic layers of the gallbladder. Pabasa na lang po.